Hey everyone, Steve here from Buckeye Sports Center. Today we're going to talk about water sports equipment, specifically skis, wakeboards, and surfboards. We're going to talk about different shapes, different sizes, different boards and skis that are going to fit either a current riding style or skiing style that you have, or if you're a first-time buyer, some things to look for when purchasing your first piece of equipment. Let's check them out. So a lot of you, if you've wakeboarded or skied before, probably learned on some old equipment, or you're currently using something that seems pretty out of date. You know, something like this old Wake Tech here. Great board back in the day, but old, kind of outdated materials. You know, you got the high rubber here, very little support. Boards are, you know, back then were heavy. It just made progressing extremely hard unless you were pro level. You're going to want to hang that up on your wall and get some new equipment. Let's start at the very beginning. Something like this entry-level beginner combo ski. As you can see, we call it a combo because not only is it a two ski, but it also has a single ski that does have a rear toe. So as you progress with your skiing and want to decide to slalom ski, which means using a single ski to ski, you can move up from there. Nice thing about your beginner combos, a lot nicer materials, lighter weight than the old style wood skis. And then, you know, cool features, say this, you know, like this toe, you know, tie bar here. This connects the two skis, keeps those tips from wandering, helps that beginner to progress quicker, learn quicker, and hopefully get up onto a high-end ski very fast. Let's take a look at some user-friendly slalom ski options. As you can see, the Outlaw and the Big Daddy here by Conley have a wider profile. What this will do is allow for the skier to have a smoother transition from getting up as well as staying up. Just makes the ride a little bit easier. You can see the wider profile through the tip as well as through the foot and also into the tail. This is going to create extra lift whether you are maybe learning how to slalom ski or maybe you're just getting back into slalom ski. Something like this with a wider profile is going to create a bit more lift, and it's going to allow that skier to get up and have a little bit more fun with little effort. Something that's gotten popular in the last few years have been what we consider a free ride ski. It's not a beginner ski, and it's not really a tournament course ski. What this is a ski that is going to allow you to take a lot more turns during your ski session. It's also going to be a little bit easier to get up on. A ski like this is for, you know, for the guy that's maybe not running course. He wants to get up, he wants to ski in the morning and have a good time, but he's not necessarily going out there and trying to run through a slalom course. So this ski is going to allow you, a ski design like this is going to allow you to take more turns with minimal effort and have a good time. You can see from the profile of the ski, it does have a lot of rocker. This is going to allow you to stay up on top of that ski and just make the ride so much smoother, as well as having a wider profile through the center of the ski. You can see through the boot area here is much wider, which is going to allow for that ski to get up, and it's going to be a lot easier to get on top of the water. You also have a hole pattern here so that if you did want to put a, you know, higher end tournament boot on this instead of your more freestyle boot, you can do that on a ski like this. Let's take a look at a performance course type slalom ski. As you can see, this is going to have a narrower profile, a higher end boot setup, as well as just better materials. This one has a kind of that speed skin base. It's almost, you know, a carbon fiber type setup, which is going to lighten up that ski. It's going to allow it to flow over the water very smooth. This ski is extremely high performance, cutting extremely hard turns. It's so fun to ski on, especially if you're looking for, you know, getting out and performing in the slalom course as best as you can. Nice thing about it though is the profile still is forgiving enough that if you just wanted to go out and free ride something like this Omega, you can still do that as well. So the reason for this hard shell boot to release from the ski is to protect that skier or reduce the risk of injury from a crash. It's just like a snow ski. So at a high speed, this boot will then release from the ski, disconnecting the skier from the ski, keeping that twisting motion at a minimal. So Probably not 100% guaranteed you're not going to get injured, but it definitely is going to help reduce that risk. So the combination of this with, you know, either a softer rear boot or, as I have here, a rear toe will allow the skier to be separated from that ski. Pretty cool. So the technology is awesome. Things have really changed in the performance and the course skiing with slalom skis. Let's take a look at some wakeboards. If you're just getting into wakeboarding or you've been wakeboarding for years, there's all kinds of different shapes. It can be overwhelming, especially, you know, for that beginner. The main thing when first starting off is to get something that has a good fit for your, you know, foot size as well as your body size. Specializing that equipment for the individual is very important. As you can see here, we have what we consider a Grom, kind of an entry-level board. Lightweight, easy riding, simple boots, something that is adjustable and allows for that rider to progress on. Shapes like this are what you're going to consider a kind of a progressive, almost a continuous rocker, meaning it is a kind of a full banana type shape. Easy, consistent pop off the wake. You move up, you can see size, you know, different types, as in three-stage rockers. Three-stage rocker is just kind of what it sounds like. It's going to have 3 stages of angle on that board. Three-stage rockers are going to be poppier. They're going to go a little bit higher off the wake when you're jumping, rather than a continuous rocker is going to go a little bit farther. The difference is continuous rockers are going to be a little bit more consistent each time you take off and jump the wake. You'll get a little bit more explosion off of a 3-stage rocker, but it's a little less consistent when you're talking about takeoff. So for beginners, that continuous rocker is definitely a lot easier. When you take a look at some different sizes here, this women's board here, the Eden, this is actually an asymmetrical board, meaning the heel side is a different shape from the toe side. If you've ever wakeboarded before, you know that toe side edge is always a hard one to achieve because of the angle with the boat pulling you and trying to stay on your toes. With having a shorter toe side edge, this is going to allow for that rider either to progress and learn that toe side edge easier, or for the skilled rider, it's just going to make that toe side edge jumping or carving a lot easier. You move over here, we'll see this is a Sean Murray's Pro model. Sean Murray has been an innovator for many years in the wakeboarding industry, and he makes a board that anybody can ride. Very easy riding board, but as you get up into the advanced stages, it's still going to keep up with you. So I recommend Sean Murray shapes to a lot of riders. It's just a fun, consistent board to get on and ride. You can see I have set up here with the system bindings. You can see this binding is more of what you would maybe see on a snowboard. You have the release here, and then the boot that is removable here. Pretty cool, different setup here. This is something you can put your boots on, maybe stay in the boat. If you guys are doing different sessions, you can stay with your boot on and then just strap into your binding here. But it's all going to be personal preference, whether you have your traditional binding that's mounted straight to your board or something from Hyperlite here where you can have that system set up. New in the last few years has been cable parks. They were really big in Europe, across the sea there. A big thing, not everybody can afford a boat. You know, it's expensive. Fuel, finding people to go with you, getting time to get on the water is extremely expensive. So something like a cable park. There's one in Cincinnati. Basically, it's a cable system that goes around a lake and you get pulled via that cable system. So now the industry has now worked into cable park specific boards. These are boards that you're going to either hit jumps with, physical jumps rather than jumping the wake of a boat. Also sliding rails, durable, you know, something you would see, you know, tricks you would see a snowboarder or a skateboarder do. You can now do this on a wakeboard. So these boards are made specifically for that use. You can see it has a sidewall here for strength so that that board does not break. The base is stronger, lacking fins as well, so you don't have anything that's going to get caught on a rail and break off or cause you to crash. Wakeboarding has definitely changed in the last few years, and there is a board for everybody. So I recommend coming in. You can ask for me or any of the other pro staff. We can answer all the questions you might have about the different shapes, the different sizes, and we will definitely get you set up with a board that's perfect for your riding style. All right, let's talk about some wakesurf boards. Wake surfing has just exploded in the last few years. It is definitely the go-to sport on the water right now. It's low impact, it's easy for all ages to learn, and progressing on it and learning your first few either tricks or spins is a ton of fun. And it just allows for you to in and out of the water and have a good time. Let's take a look at some of the shapes. It's a little overwhelming. There are a ton of different shapes, sizes. You can go online and start looking at things. It's overwhelming. So I want to go over a couple of items, a couple of different shapes to kind of get you in the right directions. So let's start off and take a look at this Liquid Force Grommy. Based on its name, it's a Grom board. It's made for kids. Its specific use is to help that individual, that smaller child, learn, or smaller individual. Thinner profile, lightweight. That is important when you're talking about learning and getting up on a board. And a full-size adult board is just not going to work for a kid. So this is important to get the individual into the right piece of equipment. Also, this is considered a SKIM style board. You can see by the shape, it would be kind of like a SKIM board that you'd see when you go on vacation at the ocean. Ton of fun, looser feel, really relaxing. Something that you're going to learn how to do shove-its or spins, 360s. Not really a carving board, more of a trick type setup here. But having this shape and profile is nice for the kids to learn. This board here, as you can see, the automatic is more of what you would see a surfer on the ocean using. You know, narrow tip, narrow tail. This board is considered a surf board. This board is made for that surfier feel, that hard carve, getting up, maybe carving and getting some big air off the top of that surf wake. This board, not necessarily something you'd see doing spins and tricks on, but something made for that guy or girl that wants to get out and kind of feel like you're really carving like you are on the ocean. So fast, very narrow edges. You can see aggressive fin pattern here. You do have, most boards have fin options. You can set them up differently. Maybe you want to put all 4 fins in here and make it a little grippier. Maybe you only do 2 fins, have a little looser feel. So something like this, as you can see, definitely something that you would consider a carving or surfing type board. Move on over here to the quad. You can see, man, just a bigger board. Wider tip, definitely a thicker setup here, and then you can see a wide tail. Something like this, what we consider a kind of a relaxing, more of a kind of an entry-level fun board. This board with that wider tail is going to allow for you to create, the board's going to create more lift. This one is actually outfitted with removable foot straps. Pretty cool if you want to use it as more, try to maybe do some air tricks or maybe some spins on something like this. Not really a beginner type tool. It's not really used to learn how to wake surf, but something that you can really take your surfing to another level. So definitely a cool board, more of a fun board for everybody. Definitely that shape that everybody's going to have a good time on. Now we're going to step over here. This is the El Guapo. You can see giant kind of toes on the nose type surfboard here. Something for everybody, to get out and cruise on, whether it's that, the big football lineman, or down to somebody that just wants to chill and relax on a board. This is a really cool board for just getting out and hanging out. Not going to be really slashing any big carves or doing any big spins, but something that you can kind of walk around on, maybe sit on, maybe lay on. Really kind of opens up for, a fun board for all kinds of different experiences there. Thanks for checking out the video today. As you can see from our run through, there are a ton of different options in your skiing, wakeboarding, and wake surfing categories. We want you to come out, come visit Buckeye Sports Center, come talk to a pro staff member. This is something we're extremely passionate about. A lot of us are surfing, skiing, and wakeboarding on our time off. So come out, check us out. We're happy to answer any of your questions and hopefully get you into the right product and get you ready for the summer.